Though I should have done this a year ago after seeing the last film in the series, The Final Reckoning, and I failed to because I failed to include that on my ranking, thus I never gave you an actual video ranking of this. But since this week will be marking the 30th anniversary of the release of the very first film in this franchise, I'm at long last gonna finally give this to you. So brace yourselves, and this mission, should you choose to accept it, and you better, you're gonna get to hear my little bit of thoughts on all these films right here as I talk about them. I review them all. So prepare yourselves as I give you my ranking of the Mission Impossible film franchise. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings again, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and I'm about to bring to you my ranking of all 8 Mission Impossible films. Now, this was kind of a tough decision, but this is just my opinion. I don't hate any of these, but I just thought they were fun. But this is just my opinion, though. But I gotta say, these films are pretty cool, especially since all of them have Tom Cruise and a host of others appearing out sporadically throughout these 8 big films that started with one simple film 30 years ago this week. Now, if you're ready, let's start the ranking. Sit back, relax, and here we go. Coming in at number 8 is Mission Impossible 3 from 2006. Now, please don't hate me for having this at the bottom of the chain. Now, I don't hate the film and what have you. I actually do like it. J.J. Abrams does a good job, and well, most people do consider it to be an improvement over the first 2 films. And well, that's factually kind of true, but I do have some issues with the film, though. It's just kind of having some issues though with some of its pacing, but it's pretty fast paced though for most of the part. Tom Cruise once again shines as Ethan Hunt. But however, one other thing, I don't really care much for the song "Impossible," which was done by Kanye West. No hard feelings. But well, in the coming years, if I ever get used to this one a little more, I'll see if it gets higher. But for now, Mission Impossible 3 is my least favorite of the franchise. But don't hate me. This is just my opinion. But as always, we're all entitled to our own opinions. So please don't hate me. Mission Impossible 3 is fun and what have you, but well, it's just my least favorite. But I still like it for its fun action-packed stunts and what have you, and Tom Cruise, and all of its great action-packed sequences. Definitely. And this film has an anniversary this year. This year will be marking the 20th anniversary of that film. Now, coming in at number 7 is the first one, Mission Impossible from 1996, which is going to be celebrating its anniversary this coming Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this coming Friday will be marking the 30th anniversary of this film, the one that started it all. Directed by Brian De Palma, who did an amazing job on this. I actually absolutely do enjoy this one. This is what started it all. Cool stunts, cool action sequences, a great cast led by Tom Cruise, plus Jon Voight, Jean Reno, and of course we have Kristen Scott Thomas, Ving Rhames, Vanessa Redgrave. Now, of course, Ving Rhames would appear in most of the films. He would have a brief cameo in one, but I'll get to that later. But anyway, the Mission Impossible, the first one, pretty cool. I especially do love the final sequence on the train and what have you. Once he blows up that chopper, and let me tell you, that was pretty awesome. Yeah, the first Mission Impossible is absolutely good. I do like that new cool take on the theme song, which I've heard several times in my view, which is absolutely awesome. I do love it. Now, please don't hate me for having this higher than the first 2. Coming in at number 6 is Mission Impossible 2 from 2000. Now, this I can understand is everyone's least favorite, and I can understand, but I love this film. This was originally my top favorite until I saw the rest of the series, and that film's gone down, and I don't care. I still love this film for obvious reasons and what have you. I mean, they bring Tom Cruise and Ving Rhames back for this, and John Woo does an amazing job on this. I've read from sources that the problem with the film is the characterization and what have you, and I completely understand, but I don't care about that. I just like it for what it had to offer. Some of its stunts were pretty darn awesome. The motorcycle scenes, the the scene where um, Hunt's chasing down the the chick Nia Hall, played by Tandy Wayne Newton. Yeah, I now, of course, I can now pronounce that name. Although she was credited as Tandy at first, but now, of course, she goes by her original name, Tandy Way. But anyway, I like that scene. That was pretty awesome and what have you. But this film had so much cool stunts. I don't care what anybody says. The music for this is pretty good. I actually do have the soundtrack with Metallica's I Disappear and Limp Bizkit's Take a Look Around, which unfortunately was nominated for a Stinkers Movie Award, but I think it might have lost it. But I'm gonna say, who cares? I like that song. That song is pretty badass. Seriously. I mean, I couldn't imagine how Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit did a good job in incorporating a little bit of the sounds of the Mission Impossible theme into their song "Take a Look Around." Pretty darn awesome. Mission Impossible 2, while it's pretty underrated, and again, I can understand why y'all don't like it. I'm an understanding person, but I do love it though. But the rest of the films kind of improve on that one way more. And coming at number 5 is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning from last year in 2025, which this a year ago this week was released. This film was a pretty good way to end the series, but they're saying they may continue on, but without Tom Cruise. But hey, that's fine, what have you. I'm glad this continued, from which this was originally supposed to be Dead Reckoning Part 2, but despite that film ended up being a slight disappointment, they changed this to The Final Reckoning. But I was cool with that. I absolutely do enjoy this. Christopher McQuarrie does an exceptionally good job with the story and the direction, and I thought this was pretty awesome. It's almost as good as Dead Reckoning, but I kind of missed it by that much. But I still absolutely loved it for what it had to offer. A really pretty cool grand finale. Once again, Tom Cruise great. Everyone else is back, and plus some familiar faces from previous installments. I think that was pretty good. So, Final Reckoning is not quite that bad. But the next four are coming in. Number 4 is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol from 2011. Now, this film was excellent, very good. Brad Bird did an exceptionally good job with the direction, and this proved to have some pretty cool stunts and what have you, especially with Ethan Hunt on the windows and what have you, and then jump from to another one. That was with those things you use to fix the walls. Not quite like what you see in Spider-Man, but still pretty cool though. That was pretty awesome. Stunts were absolutely incredible, and the action was absolutely good. I mean, this time we got some pretty good characters. Well, aside from him, well, even though this is the only one where we don't get Ving Rhames much. He does have a cameo at the end, but he's now nowhere to be seen in the film. We do have others. We have Simon Pegg on board as Benji after he actually did appear in the last film, just for a bit, for a few scenes, but now as a supporting character. But then he's on board as one of the main core cast. Jeremy Renner, just right at the time he actually made it in the MCU by appearing in have a little small appearance in Thor, and before appearing in the Avengers the following year as Hawkeye. Yeah, he was absolutely good too. We got a really good cast in my view. I think this film is so darn awesome. I think Ghost Protocol was definitely a blast. But there's still three left that are even bigger. Coming in at number 3 is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation from 2015. The first film in the series to be directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who does an amazing job and also with the screenplay and story. Very good. I mean, it was good to have Ving Rhames back on board in the court cast. We have Jeremy Renner and Simon Pegg back on board. We have Rebecca Ferguson on board as Ilsa and Sean Harris as Lane. They both were really good. And lots of others. I think this film proved to have some pretty darn good, awesome effects and what have you. And I thought it was an absolute blast. Especially once we're early, well, at the very start of the film where Ethan Hunt's managing to stay on that plane once it takes off. Man, that was pretty darn awesome. And what can I say? There's lots more cool stunts and action where that came from. But anyway, from what I've seen, Rogue Nation was good. Oh yeah, this was also the first film that had Alec Baldwin in as well. So overall, I must admit it was really good. Rogue Nation, I do love it. It was really good. Now coming in at number 2 is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Yeah, I'm excluding the part 1 out from 2023. Great film and a good way to keep this going. Christopher McQuarrie back on board as director and writer. Joined Tom Cruise and Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg. We have Rebecca Ferguson back on board. Haley Atwell's on board. Vanessa Kirby is here. We have Esai Morales as Gabriel, good villain. Palm Clemente after she had become big in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. Henry Czerny's back on board. We have Angela Bassett in here. Oh wow, this was just so incredible. I really enjoyed the big stunts, especially with the motorcycle going off the ledge, and then of course using his parachute, well, glider chute is what you probably would call it, or something like that. Ethan Hunt gets on the train and takes out the bad guy, and boy, it's pretty awesome. I think this film was just so awesome when I saw it. After revisiting it, I thought it was even more good and what have you. But anyway, I thought this was just such a pretty cool film and just another good Mission Impossible film. Enough said about it. But this comes down to the final one, so prepare yourselves. As my number 1 film, the top film and top favorite of the Mission Impossible films, in my opinion, is none other than Mission Impossible Fallout from 2018. Now, this film's pretty awesome, too. And I think it's really, really good. As the IMF team find themselves in a race against time as they're hunted by assassins while trying to prevent a global catastrophe. Well, just like with Rogue Nation and the last 2 films, Christopher McQuarrie did an exceptionally good job with the direction and his story. We have Henry Cavill on board as August Walker, who happens to be the villain of the film. I think he does an exceptionally good job going on from playing Superman into this film. It was so cool. Of course, we have Ving Rhames and Simon Pegg back on board. Rebecca Ferguson is back as Ilsa. We have Sean Harris playing Solomon Lane. Angela Bassett's on board. here as Erica Sloane. I did make a slight error on the last one. This was her first appearance in here. Vanessa Kirby's here as the character of the White Widow. She's good, and Michelle Monaghan's back as well. So this film proved to have a whole lot of good action sequences and a great story and great direction, and its score is absolutely superb too. I found nothing wrong with this. I think this has now become my favorite of the franchise. I mean, the final battle with Ethan and August, pretty awesome. What have you? It was so darn awesome. Definitely. So, which means Mission Impossible Fallout is my top favorite film of the Mission Impossible franchise. It was just so awesome. So there you go. What did you think of this ranking? How would you rank the Mission Impossible franchise? I'd love to hear from you all about that. If you're a big fan of the franchise, if you would, please feel free to leave your ranking for the films in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. And join me next time when I bring to you a revisited review of DreamWorks Animation's own classic itself, Shrek. So, if you like this, you can check out my reviews for the top 3 films of this ranking. The upper left-hand corner is my review of Mission Impossible Fallout. The upper right-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of Dead Reckoning. And the bottom left-hand corner is my review of Rogue Nation. If you'd like, you can go to my channel and click on the Mission Impossible playlist to see my reviews on all the films. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya, and this message will self destruct in 5 seconds. Gotcha, didn't I? Okay, I'm really gonna go this time. Bye.